Many seniors believe that stroke is something that strikes out of nowhere.
The truth is very different. As a brain doctor, most strokes are not accidents. They are the result of years of small, daily choices.
The hopeful news is that by changing a few simple habits, you can dramatically reduce your chances.
Every glass of water, every step, can either safeguard your independence or set you up for disaster.
Imagine two people in their 70s.
One wakes up, drinks water, takes a slow walk.
The other skips breakfast, smokes, drinks heavily, and isolates themselves.
10 years later, the first person is still walking, talking, and enjoying life,
while the second may be confined to a bed, struggling to move or speak.
The difference is not luck. It is daily habits.
The brain is the most delicate organ, depends on constant circulation.
Strokes happen when that supply is interrupted by a clot or a burst vessel.
But the good news is that prevention is possible.
Studies show that up to 80% of strokes can be avoided through lifestyle changes.
That means the power to protect your brain is literally in your hands.
In this video, I will share with you 9 daily habits.
Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, hit that button.
And if you find this video helpful, type 1. If not, type 0.
Part 1. Stay hydrated every morning.
One of the simplest but most powerful habits is drinking water first thing.
Dehydration is a silent trigger for strokes.
After a full night's sleep, you lose water through breathing.
By the time you wake up, your blood is thicker, and your brain is more vulnerable. When you are dehydrated, the blood becomes more concentrated, increasing the risk of clots.
A clot traveling to the brain can block blood flow and cause an ischemic stroke.
Research shows that even mild dehydration can impair oxygen delivery to the brain.
Seniors are particularly at risk because the sensation of thirst becomes weaker with age.
The body compensates by constricting blood vessels. This puts extra strain on arteries.
A sudden rise in blood pressure in the morning is one of the reasons strokes often happen. Starting the day with water helps normalize blood pressure and eases the workload on the heart.
patients often tell me they prefer coffee. But starting with coffee worsens dehydration.
The smarter choice is to drink 1 or 2 glasses of water before anything else.
Warm water or room temperature water is best.
Adding a slice of lemon can provide a refreshing taste and a small boost of vitamin C.
I recall who was admitted after experiencing repeated dizzy spells.
Once, we discovered she was chronically dehydrated.
Once she began the simple habit, her dizziness disappeared.
Studies conferred that seniors who maintain proper hydration have significantly lower risks. If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the next habit: eating a balanced breakfast. Part 2. Eat a balanced breakfast.
Many seniors believe that skipping breakfast helps control weight, but after a long night of fasting, your body is in a delicate state.
When you do not eat, blood sugar can drop too low, leading to hypoglycemia,
causing dizziness, confusion, blurred vision. Warning signs that your brain is not receiving enough fuel.
Skipping breakfast can also trigger your body to overcompensate. Stress hormones like cortisol rise.
This swing is damaging to blood vessels, weakening them over time. Researchers have found that people who regularly skip breakfast are at a higher risk.
A balanced breakfast helps stabilize blood sugar, giving your brain a steady flow of energy.
The key is balance. Choose foods rich in whole grains, fruits, and lean protein.
For example, oatmeal with berries, a boiled egg, and a slice of whole grain toast. Avoid heavy fried foods or sugary pastries, which can cause sharp spikes.
I remember one of my patients who often skipped breakfast. He would rush straight to coffee.
Eventually, he experienced a minor stroke that left him with speech difficulties. After rehabilitation, he adopted a simple routine: water first, then a light breakfast. Over time, his blood pressure stabilized, and he never had another stroke.
Science backs this up. Studies show that people who eat breakfast regularly have a lower risk.
For seniors, breakfast is not optional. It is protection.
If this has made you rethink your morning routine, wait until you hear about the next habit.
Part 3. Drinking strong coffee on an empty stomach. For many seniors, the day does not feel like it has begun until that first cup of coffee.
The smell, the warmth, the energy boost, it feels harmless, even healthy.
But as a brain doctor, drinking strong coffee on an empty stomach can quietly increase your stroke risk.
While moderate coffee consumption has benefits, the timing and intensity make a huge difference.
Blood pressure is naturally higher, and your blood is thicker after hours without hydration.
Adding a jolt of caffeine can push your cardiovascular system into dangerous territory.
Caffeine stimulates the release of adrenaline, constricts blood vessels, and raises blood pressure.
But for seniors whose arteries may already be stiff, this sudden surge can trigger a clot.
Another problem is that coffee worsens dehydration. Caffeine is a diuretic. Drinking coffee first thickens the blood further and increases the risk of clot formation.
This is one reason why strokes often occur in the early morning hours.
Coffee on an empty stomach can also irritate the digestive system and spike stress hormones.
I have seen patients who believed their morning dizziness or palpitations were just part of aging.
For some, this led to a minor stroke or transient ischemic attack.
This does not mean coffee must be eliminated. The key is moderation and timing.
If you enjoy coffee, drink water first, then have a light breakfast. After that, 1 cup.
Choose moderate strength and avoid adding excess sugar or cream.
She developed frequent headaches and one morning collapsed due to a stroke.
After recovery, she adjusted her routine. Her blood pressure and headaches improved.
So if you are over 65, please reconsider this habit.
And if you thought coffee was a risky start, wait until you hear about the next danger, the very first cigarette.
Part 4. Morning smoking. For many longtime smokers, the first cigarette of the day feels like a ritual. It is often described as calming, but it is one of the most dangerous for your brain and heart. Lighting up right after waking magnifies the harmful effects, raising your risk of stroke. When you wake up, your body is already in a fragile state. Blood vessels are constricted. Adding nicotine causes immediate vasoconstriction. Your blood vessels tighten and narrow.
This increases blood pressure even further, forcing your heart to work harder.
If you already have atherosclerosis, this surge can cause a clot to form.
Studies have shown that smokers who light up within 30 minutes have higher levels of nicotine.
These chemicals reduce oxygen in the blood. Over time, this daily morning ritual becomes a silent weapon against the brain. Morning smokers have a greater risk than those who smoke later in the day.
I remember one patient who collapsed with slurred speech shortly after his routine smoke.
For seniors, the morning cigarette is especially dangerous because age brings additional risk factors. The toxins in tobacco also promote chronic inflammation. If quitting feels overwhelming, the first step is to delay that first cigarette.
But make no mistake, the ultimate goal must be to quit entirely.
If you thought coffee was a risky start, wait until you hear about the next danger, the very first cigarette. Part 4. Morning smoking. For many longtime smokers, the first cigarette of the day feels like a ritual.
It is often described as calming, but it is one of the most dangerous for your brain and heart.
Lighting up right after waking magnifies the harmful effects, raising your risk of stroke.
When you wake up, your body is already in a fragile state. Blood vessels are constricted.
Adding nicotine causes immediate vasoconstriction, and your blood vessels tighten and narrow.
This increases blood pressure even further, forcing your heart to work harder.
If you already have atherosclerosis, this surge can cause a clot to form. Studies have shown that smokers who light up within 30 minutes have higher levels of nicotine. These chemicals reduce oxygen in the blood. Over time, this daily morning ritual becomes a silent weapon against the brain.
Morning smokers have a greater risk than those who smoke later in the day.
For seniors, the morning cigarette is especially dangerous because age brings additional risk factors.
The toxins in tobacco also promote chronic inflammation.
If quitting feels overwhelming, the first step is to delay that first cigarette.
But make no mistake, the ultimate goal must be to quit entirely.
Nicotine replacement therapy are all proved tools that can help.
Every cigarette you skip gives your brain and heart a chance to heal.
So if you are over 65, consider this your strongest warning.
That first cigarette is robbing your brain of its future.
And if you think smoking is bad, wait until you hear about the next morning habit.
Part 5. Rushing into strenuous activity.
Many seniors believe that exercising first thing in the morning is the healthiest way.
But for seniors, jumping straight into heavy, strenuous activity can silently raise the risk of stroke.
The truth is that your body needs time to transition from the resting state.
During sleep, your blood pressure and heart rate are lower. If you immediately begin intense activity, you force your heart to pump harder and faster before it is ready.
This rapid spike in blood pressure can strain fragile blood vessels in the brain.
In older adults, that surge may be enough to rupture a vessel.
Another danger is the sudden demand for oxygen in the muscles. Less blood may reach the brain.
For some seniors, this causes dizziness, confusion, or loss of balance.
One man in his late 60s began jogging, but one day he collapsed with weakness on his right side.
Research confirms this risk. Studies show that the incidence of stroke is highest in the early morning hours.
The key is not to avoid exercise, but to approach it wisely. Gentle movement is the safest way.
Start with stretching, light walking, to wake up your circulation gradually.
Give your body at least 15 to 20 minutes to adjust.
Hydrate with water before you begin.
Most importantly, listen to your body. If you feel dizzy, stop immediately.
Exercise remains one of the most powerful ways to prevent stroke, but only when done safely.
If this surprised you, stay with me for the next part.
Part 6. Safer morning routine and advice.
Now that you know the 5 dangerous morning habits, let us focus on what you can do instead.
A safe morning routine is about creating stability for your blood pressure, heart, and brain.
The first step is getting out of bed safely. Roll gently. Sit up slowly.
The second step is hydration. Start your morning with a glass of warm water.
This rehydrates your system, thins the blood, and helps prevent clot formation. The third step is a balanced breakfast, stabilize blood sugar, and give you steady energy.
Eating breakfast before coffee or medications also helps protect the stomach. The fourth step is avoiding morning smoking.
If you are a smoker, skip the first cigarette of the day.
Delay it as long as possible. Drink water and try deep breathing instead.
Over time, these small delays can help you break the cycle completely.
Your arteries, your lungs, and especially your brain will thank you.
The fifth step is gentle movement.
Instead of rushing into strenuous exercise,
Start with stretching, light walking, or Tai Chi.
These activities gradually increase circulation. Warm up your muscles.
If you plan to exercise more intensely, wait at least 30 minutes after waking.
This lowers the strain on your heart and brain.
The sixth step is monitoring your health.
keep a log of your blood pressure and any unusual symptoms. Morning is the best time to take these measurements.
Share these records with your doctor so they can adjust your medications.
Finally, the seventh step is building a calm mindset.
Stress hormones are already high in the morning, and adding mental pressure only strains your body further.
Create a quiet morning ritual, such as gratitude when journaling, meditation.
A calm start reduces stress on your heart and circulation.
By replacing dangerous habits with these safer routines, you do more than lower your stroke risk.
You strengthen your independence and give yourself the best chance at living longer.
If you are over 65, mornings are not just the start. They are the most critical hours.
And in the conclusion, I will summarize the lessons.
Conclusion: protect your brain every morning.
We have reached the end. I want you to pause and reflect on what you have learned.
Stroke is not always the result of rare events. Very often, it is triggered by small, everyday choices.
The way you rise, fuel, choose can all determine whether your day begins in health or ends in tragedy.
We discussed 5 dangerous morning habits: jumping out, skipping breakfast, coffee, smoking, strenuous activity.
Each of these habits may feel small, but together they create the perfect storm for a stroke.
The hopeful truth is that these risks are not inevitable. You have the power to change them.
By rising slowly, hydrating, eating, quitting smoking, and beginning with gentle movement.
You protect your circulation and give your brain what it needs to thrive.
These simple choices are within your control.
I have seen patients whose lives were transformed. One woman, another man, a couple.
These are real stories of how small, consistent changes create lasting protection.
Remember, your body still remembers how to heal, even after decades of strain. The brain is resilient. The heart can recover, if you give them the chance.
Every morning is an opportunity to choose life and health.
Now I would love to hear from you. Which of these morning habits have you been guilty of?
Type 1 in the comments if this video gave you valuable knowledge.
Share this video with someone you love.
And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Your mornings can either be a silent risk or a powerful shield. The choice is yours. Protect your brain, protect your independence, and protect your future.